Hey, welcome to the point of return. We don't get to the point of no return. We're just getting the word out there, trying to help people out. Got Chris over here with me, the one that reached out to me. And this is William Neace, and I know his mentor. I've known him growing up, growing up in the neighborhood. I mean, I'm a little older, but he's always a good kid running around with a good crowd. But then everybody has a story, so we'll leave it to you to start telling your story, and we'll go from there.
My name's William Neace. I'm from Austin, Indiana. I was raised on the south side of Austin, South 5th Street. Grew up with a family, a lot of drugs, violence. Really didn't have much of a chance at life because the situations and the surroundings that I lived in. Not me and my family was bad people. It was just drugs and alcohol, and it was just their way of life. They was wild. I grew up seeing that stuff my whole life, and when I got older, I resorted to the same ways. I got locked up and I've done 19 years in prison. I got out. Last time I was incarcerated was February 18th, 2021. I've been out since. I got, coming up October, it'll be 6 years off any narcotics or heroin, meth, anything like that. I'm a full-time employee at Morgan's Food. I got my own business going, Neace's Pressure Washing, landscaping, really all around handyman stuff. Got married, got a little baby. He'll be 10 months old on the 23rd. I try to help people in my community nowadays because I've been doing so much destroying my community. I went to Salvation Army in Fort Wayne in 2021. The program changed my life forever. They asked me when I graduated, said, "Why do you want to go back home?" Because if I can't make it at home, I can't make it nowhere. So ever since I've come back home, I've been trying to show people, you know, if you want it, you can get it. You just got to work hard, and, you know. And, sometimes you think you're not getting nowhere, but if you keep pushing through, your breakthrough's just on the other side.
So it's what people say, you gotta do the work. Everybody wants an easy fix for everything, get rich quick, whatever, but everything.
He don't just come to you, just like the Bible says. God will do his part, but you got to do yours, and you got to put the work in. Because if you don't keep yourself, it's just like a lawnmower blade, you know. If you don't keep it sharp, it's not gonna cut no grass. Same way with us. If we don't keep ourselves sharp and in recovery and stuff, the devil's gonna cut our grass for us.
Every day is a struggle.
Every day's a reprieve, they call it. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's probably true for everybody.
Yeah, and it just shows that men are doing the right thing, right things happen. You know, do wrong things happen. And I've seen, because me and men we was in the madness together, and I lost my home and everything to the addiction and pills, and I went, and his grandma took me in, and there was, 10 of us or more living in that trailer, but she made sure we had something to eat, and God rest her soul. That was one of the best women I ever met. She had her problems too, but she knew God and she loved God, and man, I can never think she's like a second mom to me, and she instilled that in this little fella here, and she got to see him change, and that answered her prayers, and so I can't tell you how proud I am.
I remember growing up, and I would have never dreamed that you were going through anything.
Yeah.
So it shows you just don't know what's going on in somebody's life.
No, you don't.
Because you ran around with my nephew, he's the chief of police now, you know, two whole separate paths.
We was best friends growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ever since I came back, you know, I said, you know, I'm gonna make my name good around here, you know. Yeah, well, I work at Morgan's full time, and I work my other job too. Sometimes I get to see my family a couple hours a day. Sometimes, you know, it's just 15 minutes, but I got goals in my life that I'm trying to reach.
We're trying to set an example.
Yeah, and set example for these other people because I've done everything except touch a kid or touch a woman in my life, you know, and I'm not bragging or talking about that,
No.
about the past, but it just goes to show you, if you want change, you can change. It's hard work you gotta be put in. There's gonna be days you feel like you're alone. There's gonna be family you're gonna have to let go. But you gotta remember, you gotta be selfish in your recovery if you're trying to change your whole life.
So even though you, like you said, you couldn't make it here, then you couldn't make it anywhere, which I respect,
Exactly.
and I really like that. But if you felt yourself slipping, you know you
I know
might have
what-
to step
yeah,
away
yeah.
and, like
Yeah.
you said, Salvation Army.
He knows it. He's got people in his life now that he can reach out to. He's got a group surrounding him now that he can reach out to when he's
Which is
struggling.
probably something you didn't have back
No.
when you was growing up. When we was growing up, I don't remember stuff like that being around.
No, and then nowadays, you know, people trust me. Businesses, stuff like that. People, you know, people that's real wealthy in the community and stuff, they trust me with their stuff now. You know, never in a million years would I ever thought that I would be trusted with somebody's stuff.
And that's probably one of the hardest things.
We take it to the pawn shop and get rid of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or go sell it somewhere.
Yeah, people wouldn't even approach me, you know.
And face the consequences later.
Once
you
you
know?
lost that trust, that's probably one of the hardest things.
That was one of the
to get
hardest
back.
things to get back, because when I come back here, yeah, I was working, but when I started doing my own stuff, it was hard at first. But the people, you know, people watch you, and they see that I just stayed dedicated to working, to
Did
trying to.
you feel resentment that they were watching you, or
No,
did you understand?
no, I
they were
understand,
watching you?
and respected it, because I was once that person that you didn't want around.
It only takes-
You'd be the same way, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
It only takes a few seconds to blow a bridge up, but it takes a long time to build it
Build it
back.
back,
And he had people, when you do, because I went through it myself, when you do start doing work for people, and your actions speak louder than your words do.
Well,
That's all
you're kind
I'm
of in the
saying.
same boat, because you got
Detail
a
business.
detail business here in Cartersville, and you're doing very well now.
We all got
So you
some.
had to build that trust back up.
Oh yeah, it took me 3 years to get this business, and he's got a brother that was wanting to get into the detailing business, and I encouraged him. I said, brother, it didn't come overnight. I said, you just got to do your work and put it out there and let them people talk to you. And it took me 3 years to, like I said, to build this business. So it ain't gonna come overnight. You just gotta keep your head down and keep doing the work and putting it out there, and it'll speak for itself. And eventually, you start reaping what you sowed.
Well, okay, well, you say you spent 19 years in prison.
Yes. I was president of gang, all over the whole state, real and tourist gang, and I mean, I've had to do a lot of things and see a lot of things, you know, in my life. But 2019, God changed my life forever.
That's what I was going to ask. What was it? Because you
I was-
went back
I
and
was-
forth. What was the point?
In 2019, I got locked up. I was running from law on a house arrest violation, and I knew when they caught me, I only had to do 91 days, so I didn't care, you know, to run. And when they caught me, I was in there on my 91th day, no, 2 days before my court date. I was in jail, waking up every hour on the hour, hunt for church. And the guys in the block were like, what's going on with this guy, you know what I mean? Because they know my past and know who I was, how I was. And at 9:30 it come, and I went out to the cell block door and started beating on the door, and they come back there and they said, Neace, what's going on with you? I said, I need to go to church. They said, well, the last group's in church right now. I said, probably won't be tonight. I said, well, you go over and tell the preacher. I said, Minna wants to come to church. I said, I need to come to church. So they come back and made exception for us. I was in a 40-man pod, and usually only like 3 or 4 guys out of that pod go, you know.
I think it's a misconception of prison. They think you're in a prison cell, but you're just in a big group of guys just thrown in there
Yeah.
lumberjack.
Yeah. And when they made exception for us to go to church that night, all 40 men in that block went to church. I went in the church, I went in there, I sat down, there was Brent Calloway, and he had a guest speaker named Dickie. I don't remember a word of the service. I remember the whole time I was looking at the guest speaker, he had a stretchy watch on his wrist, and I didn't, you know, wasn't thinking what it'd be, you know, at the time. But later on, when I started thinking about it, you know, I realized what it was. It was my time to give it up, you know. But after that service, Brent Calloway stood up. He says, "Anybody here want to be prayed for?" And I was going. It was on my heart, you know, to raise my hand. But I dropped my head. When I dropped my head, my nose started running like water. So I pulled my head back up, and he said it again. And when he did, it's like something grabbed my hand and threw it up. And
Like you didn't even have control.
no, I didn't have control over it. It's a spiritual thing. It's God thing. It was meant to happen that way.
It's what some people call the Holy Ghost.
Yeah. And when I got up there to get prayed for, I was laughing, crying, shaking. Didn't know what was going on with me. Never experienced nothing like that in my life. And he put one hand on my heart and one hand on my head. And he said, "Are you ready?" And before I could even think, I said, "I'm ready." And he said something to me only me and God know I've done years back in prison. And when he said that to me, I went blank. I come back through, and I can't breathe. I feel like I can't breathe. My vision's starting to slowly come back. I feel like I can't talk, I can't breathe. And I bent down. He kept patting on my chest. I said, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I could read his lips by this time. You know, it was starting to fade back in. And I bent down and I touched my feet, and I sucked in the deepest air, man. And when I raised back up, my hands just went out like this, and it felt like the whole world left me.
He gave you the first clean breath of air. He breathed that into you.
And when I done that, I hit the floor. I was on fire. It was like somebody set a torch and fire on me. And I'm out in church and I'm coming on my clothes. I said, "I'm on fire." I kept squalling, "I'm on fire." Like that. And I hit the ground. And I made an oath with God. I said, "I'm yours. Use me how you want to use me." And ever since then, I've been, you know, wherever my heart leads me, or where God tells me to go, or what to do, I do it. I try to help people. It's in getting out of prison. It's in early recovery. They can't get jobs. I'll pick them up and take them to work with me. That'll make them a few dollars, you know, and conversation.
Yeah, that's very important.
And that's the main thing for me. If I can, I like tackling the ones that everybody counts out. You know what I mean? The ones that they say they're never going to make it. I was one of those people. And could be I can walk up to the store today and it could all change, you know what I mean? And
well, you never know.
You never know.
What you say to somebody, because it's been like years gone by and somebody said, "Hey, that's one time you gave me a ride, or you did this, or whatever," and I got to kind of search my memory bank. Wow.
When he got out of jail in 2019, he came up, no, it wasn't 2019, it was 2017 or 18.
I went to Todd's place. Yeah, I went to Todd's place. I wasn't ready then.
I had him just a few days and I could tell.
Yeah, I
He was
stayed up in the
dancing,
front.
ready to
I was
go.
ready to go.
He was running.
Yeah.
But Lord, I knew the seed had been planted and the Lord he harvested it.
Yeah,
He
so
watered it and
takes-
cultivated
so
it.
over the years, it's
Yeah.
like you said, it's kind of been getting pushed into you, but it took.
Because when I first got clean and sober, I went straight back to 5th Street and walked in that trailer. And your Uncle Johnny's the first one that I said, "Son, let me get you out of here."
You know, it's crazy that now that I've got sober and all my family's around now, the ones that said they would never change,
Change.
they changed.
Oh yeah.
Because they seen, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, they didn't think you could ever do it, and then once they're like, "Well, maybe there's hope for me too."
Yeah. It's my uncle. He said, "I'll do drugs till I die." And today he's 14 months off meth.
Mhm.
And,
I seen the other day he put weight on.
Yeah.
He looked good.
Yeah. It's been a blessing.
Like I said, you just never know where the path's going to lead you.
No.
And I love that you're helping people that's getting out, because technically they lose hope. They get out and they don't have nowhere to turn to. And
Guys like us tore Austin up. You wouldn't believe some of the stuff that we did on 5th Street. I ain't lying. If we could make a movie
like I
out
said,
of
I
it, I
didn't
promise
do
you.
drugs, but I seen it, I was there, I just
There's
never, well, Billy Fink, friend of mine, this was me going through my divorce this time, but he said one of the most profound things that stuck with me, he said, when you're in the middle of madness, you don't see the madness.
No.
No.
No, you don't.
So you gotta step outside of yourself,
Yeah.
sort of, kinda like you're saying, you didn't have control over it, like you stepped outside of yourself.
I listened. I was listening to God, and I went with it. When I was in jail this last time. I was facing 32 years for selling one bag of dope. I went to court that morning to get sentenced to 32 years. Just so happened they looked over my plea bargain, and they said, well, "You can't give him this much time." I said, "I'll bring you over to the courthouse at 1 o'clock. I'll send you." The judge did. Now, my last prison bit, my last 5 years, I had a dream every year of talking to troubled kids.
Mm-hmm.
That day when they brought me in over to that courthouse, it was in the middle of COVID, and they brought me in that courthouse and there was 5 juveniles sitting there in chains. And I was sitting there, I walked in, they looked at me, I was, all wild looking, and them kids just kept looking at me, and kept hearing the voice in my head, saying, telling me, "Now's your time. Now's your time." And I was like, man, thought it was just a mix of emotions. And when the judge came in, I had my head down, I was worried about, I know they can only give me 12 years at the max. I had dropped my head and just gave it to God, and then there's that voice again that said, "Now's your time." I looked over to the jailer beside me, Williams. I said, "Say something to these kids." He looked at me a while. I stood up, and the judge came in, back when he's coming in. I said, "Your Honor," I said, "can I say something to these kids?" He said, "Willie, don't make a mockery of my court." I said, "No," I said, "I'll talk to the kids, So I turned around and gave him a little fast spill on my life, and I said, "No matter what you see happen to me today, or no matter what happens to you today in this courtroom," I said, "don't deter where you're going to go with your life." I said, "We all make mistakes, and you got to answer for your mistakes, So I said, "So whatever happens here today, don't let it deter where you're going to go with your life." And sure enough, I was the first person they called. I got up there, and he said, "Mr. Neace, I'm going to send you to 12 years today." I kind of figured, And I said, "All right," but I didn't say all right, I'm self-talk to myself. And he said, "But I'm going to suspend 3 years of that." He said, "I'm going to give you 9 years to the Indiana Department of Correction." But he said, "I'm going to release you today." He said, "On home incarceration." So I went from 32 years that day to walking out of that jail.
Do you think that helped when you try and talk to the kid? Do you think that helped the judge make his decision?
I think God just had a plan in it all.
So it was all just
It was all God.
what it was meant to be.
That's what it was meant to be.
Yep.
And I cherish those moments. And even in my bad days, I hold on to those good things. And that keeps me driving hard.
I've seen him. He's talked to the young Marines, and he's getting his message out there. We was talking about that before we come on here. That God opens doors for you to go speak, and when it's time, you just go do that thing, and then you just live your life and live by example.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you go into like school?
I help with the young Marines. I go to churches, stuff like that. Recovery meetings and tell my story. My goal is to be more working with more younger kids, steer them from gangs, the streets, just those.
So would they? Like you can go into the jails and talk to them.
Well, I can't until next year. Next year I can. I'm still in home incarceration.
Oh, so
I've been on this thing for 5 years. I get off of it, almost 5 years. October makes 5 years. I get off this next year. And when I signed my plea bargain, my lawyer, when they told her that, and I had 5 years, 9 months. I had 19 months in the county jail, and I had to do the Salvation Army, and I got 3 years probation afterwards. She said, they said, there's no way you can complete this. I said, well, I said, when you're done, you're done. And I left it at that. And I knew if the odds was against me, I know they was against me. You know what, I was going to fail from everybody.
But you
But-
going down fine.
But I wasn't gonna, I didn't have failure in my heart. And I still don't. I mean, I still have bad days. But you know when I push through them bad days, because just on the other side there's a blessing there somewhere.
Gotta take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
Look, I was always told don't let it be a bad day, just have a bad moment and press on and look for the good in it.
Yeah.
Because if we let that take a whole day away from us, we're missing a blessing ourselves, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, because it could be a great day, couldn't let that one
Take that
moment be
bad moment, pray about it, give it to God, and let it go.
You know, there used to be
Hard to
like
do.
small things would happen. So you get a flat tire and stuff. You know, you get
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
people get
Feel terrible,
upset and aggravated. But now, you know, I look at that as there's a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And I accept that nowadays. And that's what helps me get through most of my stuff.
Instead of asking why, ask what.
Yeah,
You know,
what I need to do.
Well, that's a great attitude, great way to look at it, and a very human way to look at it. I mean, no matter what somebody's going through, that'd be a good way to go through
Yeah.
life.
mhm.
And
Because I always said nobody's story is worse than the other person. Everybody's story is
Everybody's
different.
got a
That's
story.
their story.
yeah, you can touch somebody that I can't. I can touch somebody you can't. Same way.
Right.
You know, it's just all of us live different paths, and there's people out there that thinks, you know, that through the worst of the worst, but there's more people out there worse than what you are.
Yeah, you can't say, well,
Absolutely.
I've had it worse than
Yeah.
him, or,
Yeah.
because it's not about that.
No.
It's about, like you said, what can I do to make your day better than?
Any part of addiction, anything to do with addiction is bad. There's nothing good that comes out of that.
Kill, steal, and destroy everything you love. Lost my whole family to drugs. I just got me and my uncle and 3 cousins left on my dad's side. Everybody else is dead.
You did have a
Uh,
good sized family too.
yeah, we had a big family, but drugs took them out.
June Bug, Milton.
It says they grew up, oh, I just never.
Not even a block away.
Nothing like that, yeah, I mean, you just behind me there.
Yeah.
Never thought anything like that would be, never thought, 20 years, 30 years later we'd be talking about it.
All my friends I went to school with and run around with when I was younger, they all become cops or, some people up in the community or something. But me, I mean, I went the other way. But, maybe I went the other way to do what I need to do today.
Yeah, we got you here.
It made
now
you
we
who
need
you are
something
today,
else.
bud. Made you who you are today.
I've always said that no matter what, I don't want to change anything,
Yeah.
even though it might make it better for that moment. We were talking about the moments, but it's well, you said, and my mom always said, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
And my dad, I'll tell you what, he thought the world of you growing up, and I think he'd be proud to hear the story that you've, the end results in life.
Yeah, he was a good man.
My mom would too.
Spent a lot of days over there playing ball, stuff.
Oh, yeah. But, was there anything else you want to add?
No, I think this is an amazing thing what y'all's doing. People don't want to walk into recovery rooms. Maybe they see this video, or maybe they see some of the videos y'all do, and maybe something in conversations y'all have touches them in ways people's just embarrassed of pride. Pride's the main thing in recovery. You gotta let go of your pride.
Pride comes before the fall.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of why we do this, is because we just want to reach just anybody. That's why we want to get to different people. We had Pastor on, of course, he had his
Jacob.
own issues, and then recovering addicts.
State representative, sheriffs.
Yeah, we got the sheriff.
Yeah, you got a lot of people.
So we try to have everybody's opinion.
Different
get
variety
heard.
of people.
That way maybe everybody can understand and come together as a community. or just as people, just.
That's what, I mean, our community, you know, it seems like, it's more about money now down there, but, it is, I'm not gonna speak on politics and stuff, get into that stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, all we can do is just reach out, try to help, that's all we can do.
You know, one thing, addiction does not discriminate, and some of the very people that are in the highest in the community have lost people to addiction.
I think you'd be
But it's
hard
still
pressed to
about
find
the
somebody that
doc-
has it.
Right. And it affects anybody, you know somebody or you're related to somebody that's been affected by addiction. And one day that door's gonna open and there's gonna be help right there in that community. I mean, there's help there now, but we're talking about life-changing help.
We try to put I'm sure you probably know about the Jesus Save stuff, the Jesus Savers Recovery Community together.
Yeah.
And it was shot down, but God's got a plan, so whenever,
Something's coming around.
yeah,
Never give up.
never give up.
That door's gonna come open when it's on God's time.
Because I don't know if it's the time to where, but it seems like religion is starting to really.
Start
Take
amping
rise.
up.
I go to church over in North Madison Christian Church over there, and I'm amazed every Sunday how many young people I'm seeing in there getting baptized.
Yeah.
It's starting to take a toll. And it says in the Bible there'll be a great falling away, and we are living in the end times, but in the same aspect, I'm seeing a lot of people come to because they know that's the only answer. Because you can't, just like this addiction, you can't do it by yourself. Even in AA, they say it takes a power greater than yourself to restore you to sanity. And they even talk about it. The AA book actually took it from the Bible and watered it down so an addict would read it. But you don't need to water anything down, just go straight to the meat and let's get it. But it's the only way you can do this, and people are realizing that.
I think your story really, I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people because,
Yeah.
like you said, you was over there with him, 2-3 years earlier, but you wasn't ready.
Yeah.
So never give up. Your time's going to come. If you're feeling it, it's all getting instilled in
Yeah.
you. Did you grow up with a religion?
My mom's side of the family, they was, but I wasn't around it like that. I was staying around the wild side, you know, my dad's side of the family.
That was always the more fun side at the time. That you
Yeah, at the time.
Or at least you thought, you know.
But since then, God is his own way. I'm not taking nothing from no steps or nothing like that, but I've never worked a AA or a recovery step. Yeah, I admitted I had a problem. That's the first one.
I think that's the most
But
important.
only steps I work is God. God is the only thing. I tell people you can use recovery to get clean, but you got to use Jesus to stay free.
That's right. It's
That's
the only
what
thing
we
that
like.
sets you free.
Yeah, I like it. So, well,
I
I
think
really
it's-
appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate y'all having me.
James 8:36. Whom the Son sets free is free indeed.
So, anybody out there, everybody has a story, and we welcome anybody to come on here. Nobody's story is less important than anybody else's.
Reach out to us.
I've had people say, well, my story is bland. Nobody cares about my story. Your story
It'll
may
help
touch
somebody.
somebody. You
Yeah.
never know who. You never know what you say that's going to affect somebody.
That's right.
So, we're here. Just reach out to me or Chris.
Even William.
Yeah, if there's
Absolutely.
anybody
William's
needs
got
help.
resources just like the rest of us, and he's willing to help the next one just like the rest of us are. We're the part of the team, a part of the puzzle.
That's all we are, just a work in progress.
Yep.
If you get anything going on you want to talk about, just reach out. And more than happy to have you back
Absolutely.
on
We'll get you on
again.
We got a recovery, first annual recovery ride. It's for side-by-sides, motorcycles, Jeeps, anything. It's just mostly fellowship and just to support the holding space thing for the homeless outreach.
Which is another really
A
important.
non-profit
Yeah.
organization.
We're starting to get a lot of homeless right now.
Yeah.
Who ever thought we'd have homeless in Scott County and
There is.
Jackson
There's
County?
a lot. There's a lot
Yeah.
more than what people know.
So, I mean, we'd love to help the homeless out too. If anybody's got a story about that, I mean, even if you're not related to drugs, you got a story you need to tell about how you got homeless or somebody you know, and any way that can help.
Even if you want to help in donation wise or anything, reach out to William. Especially the holding space, and Ginger, moms, and them that are needing clothes and air conditioners and fans and this, that, and other. Reach out to us, and if you can't get the information, reach out and we'll get it to you, or we'll make sure they get it. We'll put you in connection with the right people to make that happen. Because we're about everybody helping everybody.
So until the next time, just don't let it get to the point. Always want to keep you to the point of return.
Yeah, we want to get to the point of return. We don't want you to get to the point of no return at the end of your rope.
Thank you, Chris.
Reach out to us.
I kind of messed that little tagline up. But you've been there coming here long enough. If you're new, keep coming back, like I said, and just don't get to that point of no return.
Amen.
Get to the point of return.
Have a blessed